The opening scene begins with a news broadcast about the Korean wave of plastic surgery. According to the news, people from all over Asia are flocking to Korea for plastic surgery. In the next scene, we're introduced to a beautiful girl named Sarah, who has currently returned to Korea from abroad. She walks into a mall and everyone appears to be blown away by her beauty. They follow her everywhere she goes to get a glimpse of her. Shortly after, Sarah enters a changing room to try on some new clothes, but one guy follows her inside. Seeing him, she runs out and reports him to security. Later, Sarah sees a TV show in which fat girls compete for a chance to be beautiful via plastic surgery, and the winner receives a chance to be beautiful. The TV show shows the story of a fat girl named Ran, whose life appears to be difficult due to her weight. She's unable to control her own body and isn't accepted by both society and her in-laws. Her husband, Kang Jun, has been working overseas for 7 years, prompting them to live separately. Ran always tries her best not to be hurt by people's actions toward her. Seeing this, Sarah finds Ran to be familiar and feels sorry for her. In the next scene, Sarah returns home and changes the passcode on the lock to keep the stalkers at bay. She then sits on the couch to watch Ran's show on TV. When she learns that Ran has lost the competition, she gets upset. Hence, she calls the TV show's producer and asks how they could eliminate Ran. Sarah is surprised when the producer reveals that Ran was the one who quit the show. Elsewhere, we see Ran, who learns that her husband has already arrived in Seoul and is currently staying at a hotel. Alarmed, she goes to the same hotel, but there's no one in the room. Just then, she hears her husband arrive with another girl, so she hides inside a closet. Soon after, Ran discovers that her husband is cheating on her with another woman named Gyo Chae-yoon. This breaks Ran's heart, causing her to sob quietly. Later, she sits with Chae-yoon and requests that she end everything with her husband. She explains that Chae-yoon is pretty and can find anyone, but in her case, Kang Jun is all she has. However, Chae-yoon claims that a lot has changed in the past 7 years. Kang Jun is now the president of HBS Company, so Ran doesn't suit him. Saying this, she's about to leave when Ran holds her back. During the process, Chae-yoon falls to the ground, breaking her ankle. She is immediately taken to a hospital, whereas Ran is apprehended for assault. At the same time, Kang Jun arrives and saves Ran from the police, making her happy. However, he claims that it's the last time he'll do anything as her husband. He then hands her the wedding ring and walks away. Upon returning home, Ran learns that her mother-in-law as well as sisters-in-law were aware of Kang Jun's arrival, including his affair. She inquires as to why they didn't inform her, to which her mother-in-law responds that she's not classy enough for Kang Jun. This aggravates her and causes her to sob in pain. Meanwhile, Sarah, who's reading Ran's story on her laptop, has tears in her eyes. A few moments later, her assistant brings her a note inviting her to the church if she wants to know more about Ran. Upon reaching there, Sarah meets with a woman who reveals that Ran committed suicide after being depressed. Devastated, Sarah starts walking out of the church when the same guy from the changing room knocks her out from behind and drives her away. After a while, she regains consciousness, and as the car stops in traffic, she flees. After a long chase, the guy manages to catch her, but Sarah uses an arm lock to break his arm. The guy immediately surrenders, addressing her as Ran. Hearing this, Sarah releases him, and the guy reveals that she is none other than Ran. The guy goes on to say that Ran met with a car accident, but she was able to survive. She returned home only to discover that her family had already declared her dead. As a result, she went to the plastic surgeon named Tae-hee, who happens to be the same changing room guy. She pleaded with him to make her beautiful, claiming she wanted her revenge. So he operated on her from head to toe, transforming her into the most beautiful person. Furthermore, he informs her that she's suffering from delirium, due to which she has no recollection of her past. He also reveals that he'd been following her to administer delirium medication, but she kept throwing him away. At last, he claims that the house she's been living in is his property. Hearing this, Sarah apologizes for causing him trouble and invites him to dinner. However, Tae-hee wants the compensation, so he forwards her a contract stating that she must do whatever he says, to which she agrees. Following this, he inquires about her plan to exact vengeance on her husband. Sarah doesn't appear to have made any plans, so Tae-hee assists her. They decide to make Kang-joon fall deeply in love with her and then destroy him. After this, Tae-hee takes her to the gym to lose body fat. He also makes her read various books on politics, economics, philosophy, and other topics in order for her to become a beauty with brains. One day at the gym, Sarah sees the news and learns that Kang-joon will be marrying Chae-yoon in 3 weeks, shattering her heart again. She then walks over to Kang-joon's house and sobs outside. In the evening, Sarah returns home and discovers a picture of Tae-hee and Chae-yoon. She confronts Tae-hee and demands the truth. The latter replies that Chae-yoon was his crush, but she was stolen away by Kang-joon. This makes Sarah realize why he's assisting her with the revenge plan. Furthermore, he reveals that he's not the surgeon and that his brother is the one who performed the surgery on her. Sarah and Tae-hee now share the same goal: to end Kang-joon and Chae-yoon's marriage. Shortly after, Tae-hee devises a plan to attend a VIP party and lets Sarah approach Kang-joon. Later at the party, Sarah follows Tae-hee's instructions and attempts to seduce Kang-joon, but in vain. As a result, they decide to pursue Plan B, which is to donate a large sum of money to HBS Company and gain recognition from Kang-joon. Sarah informs him that she doesn't have enough money. However, Tae-hee reveals that he's the heir of Winner Company, which recently acquired HBS, and tells her not to worry about the money. As they donate the money, Kang-joon approaches Sarah to thank her for the donation, but seeing him makes her nervous, causing her to get hiccups. As a result, she's embarrassed and is unable to flirt with him. Soon after, Chae-yoon approaches them and takes Kang-joon with her, causing Sarah to be sad. Later at home, Tae-hee screams at Sarah for squandering such a good opportunity. He also reminds her that Kang-joon and Chae-yoon are about to marry and that their love has to be at its peak, so getting between them will be difficult. Furthermore, he says that she lost her husband because she's too soft. He then wonders when Kang-joon will be alone. Sarah responds that Kang-joon used to go fishing alone every Wednesday, and she's optimistic that he still does. On Wednesday, Sarah also goes fishing, and Kang-joon notices her. He then approaches her and tries to teach her how to fish. Tae-hee, who's watching them from a distance, is happy to see that their plan is working. Meanwhile, Sarah notices her grandmother-in-law's bracelet and inquires about it. Kang-joon responds that it belonged to his grandmother, who passed away last month. Hearing this, Sarah's reminded of all the good times she had with her grandmother-in-law, who was the only person who treated her well. However, when she's about to return the bracelet, she trips and accidentally throws it into the water, prompting her to go after it. Seeing this, Tae-hee becomes irritated, believing that she's jeopardizing their plan. Shortly after, Sarah and Kang-joon start conversing when Kang-joon inquires as to why she jumped into the water. Sarah responds that she also had a grandmother who was very special to her. After a bit of chit-chat, Kang-joon assumes that she's a wonderful person and asks if they can meet again. Tae-hee notices both of them smiling at each other, which makes him happy again. In the next scene, Sarah and Tae-hee return home and celebrate their success in the first stage of their plan. They then devise another plan, in which Tae-hee instructs her to meet Kang-joon in public and have some physical contact, creating a scandal. However, Sarah doesn't seem to be pleased with the plan. When asked, she admits that she no longer desires vengeance from her husband because she still loves him and wishes to be his wife again. Upon hearing this, Tae-hee is enraged, thinking that all of his efforts will be futile. Just then, Tae-hee gets a call from his brother Ji-hoon, informing him that he's returned from abroad, which makes Tae-hee nervous. He immediately asks that Sarah pack her belongings, revealing that this is not his home. Following this, they both relocate to a place near Kang Jun's house. The next day, Kang Jun's parents are singing in a charity program when their pianist coughs, disrupting the performance. But just then, Sarah replaces the pianist and plays gracefully, impressing everyone present there. Afterwards, Kang Jun's parents thank her for saving their performance. That evening, Sarah prepares a rice cake and gives it to Kang Jun's family, making them happy. Later, Kang Jun's parents discuss Sarah and consider her assistance in future performances. Kang Jun's sisters are also impressed by Sarah's beauty and her perfect body structure. When Kang Jun learns that Sarah has relocated nearby, he invites her to see him. Just then, he receives a call from Chae-yoon, but decides to ignore it. In the next scene, Kang Jun meets Sarah in a park and admits that he enjoys her company. While they're conversing, Chae-yoon spots them and becomes envious. Tae-hee, who is also observing from a distance, notices everything. Upon returning home, Tae-hee informs Sarah that Chae-yoon has seen them together, but she will pretend to ignore it in order to reclaim Kang Jun's heart. Hearing this, Sarah asks him to lend her more money so that she can dress prettier for her date with Kang Jun. Tae-hee reminds her of the money she already owes her. As a result, she decides to sell her wedding ring to fund the purchase of a new outfit. The next day, while they're out to sell the ring, Tae-hee suggests she have a one-night stand with Kang Jun. This excites Sarah, and she speaks loudly about it, embarrassing him. The same night, Sarah practices various yoga poses and asks Tae-hee's help in stretching out. When he does so, she gradually turns him on. He tries his hardest to control himself, but can't, so he rushes to his room and wonders what's wrong with him. He tries to console himself by saying not to fall for her. The next day, Sarah prepares some food for her family and leaves it outside their house. She feels bad for letting her mother suffer. However, she has decided to visit her mother only when she remarries Kang Jun. Later in the evening, Sarah goes out to dinner with Kang Jun, who now appears to be interested in her. As part of the plan, Tae-hee walks in with special arrangements and cheers for them to kiss. When Kang Jun obliges, Sarah is over the moon, as she kisses him after 7 long years. Following this, they enter a hotel room and are about to have an intimate moment when Kang Jun stops. He says he needs some more time to consider it because he wants to cherish her. Before leaving, he asks her to meet again. The following day, Kang Jun goes rowing with Mr. Han, the chairman of the Winter Company. As he's about to return, Chae-hee arrives to pick him up. On their way, she asks him to choose the wedding menu. Kang Jun tells her to postpone the plan because he has an important meeting tonight. She suspects that he will meet Sarah again, so she reveals that she saw him with Sarah previously. Kang Jun is enraged by her silence, so she summons Sarah for a brief meeting. When they meet, Chae-yoon brings up Jeum-ran and informs her how she ended her life. She also wants Sarah to stay away from Kang Jun, or else she will end up like Jeum-ran. As soon as Chae-yoon walks out, she receives a call from Ji-hoon, who invites her to his place. Following this, Ji-hoon calls his brother Tae-hee, reuniting him with Chae-yoon after a long time. When Tae-hee arrives at his brother's house, he encounters Chae-yoon and Kang Jun, which perplexes him. However, he pretends to be nice to Kang Jun and shakes hands with him. Following this, Tae-hee goes to the park to meet Sarah and claims Kang Jun is a two-timer. Sarah also tells him how Chae-yoon previously boasted to her. They have an argument in support of their lovers, but they soon realize that they must work together to accomplish their mission. As a result, they plan her date with Kang Jun and head out. On their way, they come across the same road where Jeum-ran had her accident, which makes her scared. Because of this, Kang Jun pulls over and asks if she has any bad memories of it. When Sarah confirms it, he advises her not to avoid the incident and to confront it head-on, which will help her trauma fade away. Then they proceed to a hotel room, where Sarah remains terrified remembering the past incident. She also wonders why people assumed it was a suicide rather than an accident. Suddenly, she realizes that Chae Yoon was the one who spread the suicide rumors. When Kang Joon notices her deteriorating health, he walks out to buy her medications. A while later, he returns to the hotel with the medication, only to discover that Sarah has already left. He tries to call her several times, but is unable to reach her. Meanwhile, Sarah attends a charity event where Kang Joon's parents are volunteers. She assists them with volunteering, just as she used to do in the past as Jeum-ran. Later, when Kang Joon's father brings up Jeum-ran, Sarah questions him as to why everyone assumed it was a suicide rather than an accident. After this, she rushes to meet with Tae-hee and informs him that someone is behind her death because she never wrote a suicide note.